What's up, everybody? Today we're breaking down one of the craziest fight cards we've ever seen. I mean, the UFC is heading to the White House, and whether you're a casual fan or a hardcore MMA addict, I mean, this card is absolutely loaded right now. It's loaded. You know, God forbid, hopefully nothing happens. Hopefully the card stays put together. But today, I'm going to give my predictions for every major fight. And I'm not going to just be picking who I think is going to win. We're also going to talk about what each fighter does best, how they can win, how I think they're going to win, how they could lose, how they could lose, and what upset paths are going to exist. Because if MMA has taught us anything, it's that fights can change in a split second. MMA math doesn't always makes sense, right? So, you know, one punch, one takedown, one mistake, and it's all over, and the tides turn. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. IliaTopuria versus JustinGaethje. Oh my God, this has to be a banger. But is Ilia gonna end it in a round, in 2 rounds? Well, is Gaethje gonna perform a major upset? I don't know, but here's my prediction. Let's just get right to it. IliaTopuria versus JustinGaethje. This is the fight that everyone is talking about. I mean, on one side, you've got IliaTopuria, undefeated, extremely confident, elite boxing, nasty boxing, and massive power. Knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, knocked out Charles Oliveira, and also took out Max Holloway. And what makes IliaTopuria special isn't that he just hits hard. It's that he really stays calm and composed under pressure. You can really see it when he fights. He stays really calm and composed under pressure. And his timing... His timing is really incredible, and when he sees an opening, when Ilia sees an opening, he usually makes his opponents pay almost immediately. And IliaTopuria, when he enters the White House event as the favorite, I just think it's hard. I don't know. It's hard to deny Ilia. It is hard to deny Ilia with all his performances, and he's also just been dominant in every fight. He's been dominant. He's not just winning; he is dominating round after round, finish after finish. So, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let's move on. But then you got JustinGaethje, and nobody should ever count No one should ever count JustinGaethje out. Nobody should ever count JustinGaethje out, because this guy is one of the most dangerous fighters in UFC history. To be honest, at least in my opinion, he's one of the most dangerous fighters. I mean, he has powerful leg kicks, power, pressure, and experience. And Gaethje has fought the absolute best. And if he lands clean, I mean, anybody can go to sleep when they're facing Gaethje. When he lands clean, against Tony Ferguson, he was piecing him up, pressuring forward. A dangerous Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy, man, when he was on that crazy winning streak. He's knocked out Dustin Poirier with the head kick. He went to war with MichaelChandler. He was taking heavy shots and still being able to come back. And even Donald Cerrone, good counters, good power while moving backwards. And I don't know. The biggest question is whether he can survive IliaTopuria's accuracy long enough to drag Ilia into some type of war, some type of car crash. You know, those collisions that JustinGaethje thrives in. You know, he likes to create these things, and he's good when he's in there. And if Gaethje wins this fight, I think it's going to be because he can turn it into chaos. He can make it look ugly. You know, he mixes in those devastating leg kicks that we haven't seen in a while. But if he can bring them back, I mean, that's something that he was really good at when he first joined the UFC, especially against Michael Johnson. And here's the thing, though. But if Topuria can get his rhythm going early, I think his speed and precision just becomes such a huge problem. And at the end of the day, here's my official prediction. I think Justin Gaethje, I think he's going to have his moments. But I think he's capable of landing some big shots, possibly rocking Ilia and putting him in some danger. But ultimately, I have IliaTopuria winning by knockout. And most likely it's going to be in rounds 2 or 3. When Ilia is athletic, explosive, his energy is just fully, like gas tank is loaded, ready to go. He's dangerous early, and he's confident, and he likes the pressure. And with the streak he's been on, man, he's going to want to come forward and just prove a point at the White House. But don't deny Gaethje, man. He can whip heavy leg kicks from the clinch up close. He always gets his head offline. He always gets his head off the tracks. And his nickname is the highlight for a reason, guys. Okay, and let's move it on to the next prediction. And this is going to be Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane, if I'm saying that right. But we'll run through this a little quicker because we got to get through all these. There's so many good fights, and we want to make sure we break all of them down today. So Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane. This might be the most fascinating fight on the card, These are some big motherfuckers. And Alex Pereira is moving up to face Gane, and Pereira is one of the most terrifying strikers we've ever seen. I mean, that left hook is a bomb, man. That's a real missile that's going to be thrown at the White House. And Pereira, he has the power. We know that he has the power. He has the composure. He has the ability to end a fight instantly. He has that ability. We know this. We've seen this. Every second you're standing in front of this guy, he's dangerous. But Gane not prevents, he's not going to prevent it, but he presents a unique challenge. He presents a unique challenge. He's mobile. He's athletic. He moves like a middleweight trapped in a heavyweight's body. He does this. And if Gane wins, I think the movement is going to be the key for him because it helps him stay off the center line. It might force Pereira to chase, and it might force Pereira to really work hard to get on the inside to land his shots. And the longer the fight goes, the more interesting it will become. But here's the thing. Pereira doesn't need much opportunities. Alex Pereira doesn't need much opportunities. Why? Because one opening can completely change the fight, especially with this man. And at the end of the day, here's my prediction. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. It's a dangerous fight. But, there might be lots of tense moments. But I think Pereira ultimately lands something huge and gets the finish. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think Pereira can land something huge and get the finish. I think he's going to find a way. I think he's motivated. I think he wants to become a legend. I think he wants that belt more than anything. And I think he's at the peak of his career right now. And I think he just has a little bit more speed. Gane is heavy, he's strong, he's explosive, and he does move well, but Pereira just, man, when he throws and when he gets in your face, he is nasty. And I just think he's going to land something huge and ultimately get that finish. But we'll see. Okay, you know this guy, SeanOMalley versus a hobby. SeanOMalley, he's one of the most creative strikers in MMA. And his movement, his timing, his ability to attack from a lot of different weird angles. These are a lot of great skills that he has, and he uses them pretty often, and he's made a bunch of highlights with these skills. He sees openings that other fighters don't see. He has great eyes. He really does. And when he's really flowing, when SeanOMalley, when he finds his flow, he's incredibly difficult to deal with. And I'll get into it. But it's a hobby. Also, we'll move on to Zahabi. He deserves respect. He's a disciplined fighter, a patient fighter. He's tough. But if Zahabi pulls off the upset, I think it's going to be because he stays composed and he forces O'Malley into a slower fight. But stylistically, I just really like O'Malley here. I think the speed difference, I think it's just going to become really noticeable. Sean O'Malley is fast, and if he goes back to the old days where he was just spinning, moving the hands, boxing nasty, backing up, doing crazy spinning kicks. I mean, that if he goes back to that, that's when he was just so confident that he looked like even if he missed, he didn't care because he's just going to stand up, recover, keep switching stances, and just keep it moving. And lately, he's been a little bit more cautious. He's been a little bit more timid. He's been a little bit too patient. Like against Song Yadong, I wish he would have pulled the trigger a little bit more to really prove that he was there to win, because leaving it to the judges, it's just too sketchy of a game. And I think he had full ability to really pressure Yadong and really solidify that win. But a lot of the times I've just felt like he was waiting too long to counter. But I think if he can go back to the old days where he's just pressuring, moving, feinting in and out, spinning nonstop, being creative, having fun out there, I really think he could put on a masterful performance. And at the end of the day, I really do think that speed is going to be a huge difference, and I think it's going to be very noticeable. Sean O'Malley is very athletic, and he's an amazing striker, and I think he has improved a lot, especially after the Merab fights, And I got Sean O'Malley. I think I think Sean O'Malley wins by decision after a strong striking performance. I think we're going to see old Sean O'Malley with some striking highlights. But that is my prediction. I think Sean O'Malley gets it done. I think we're going to see a very fresh, motivated Sean O'Malley that's ready to please the crowd and ready to put on a huge show and a huge highlight for the White House card. So that's it. Sean O'Malley wins by decision after a strong striking performance. Let's move on to who we got next. I see Josh Hokit. Josh Hokit versus Derek Lewis is the next one on this White House card. And this fight is just chaos waiting to happen. Josh Hokit is undefeated and has been building up momentum quickly. He's athletic, he's confident, he's hungry. We saw this when he fought Curtis Blades, man. He's in his face, bleeding, throwing hands, flipping him off, man. This guy's ready, man. And sometimes that is a super dangerous combination. But then there's Derek Lewis, the knockout king, guys. One of the hardest punchers in the heavyweight division. One of the hardest punchers that the heavyweight division has ever seen. I mean, he's put a lot of guys to sleep. And you can be winning against Derek Lewis for 14 minutes and 50 seconds, and then suddenly the fight is over. It's night for you. So that's what makes Derek Lewis really dangerous. If Lewis wins, it's probably because he lands a sneaky bomb. If Hokit wins, I think it's going to be because he stays disciplined, he uses his movement, and he avoids unnecessary exchanges with Derek. And, final prediction, I just think Hokit survives that early danger, and I think he's going to get one of the biggest wins of his career at the White House. I believe in Hokit. Yes, he's been a little cringe, but, he's been a little funny. He's been bringing excitement to the sport, just trash talking, making it weird, making it a little different. And you know what? He sure backed it up when he fought Curtis Blades. And I think he's going to get a big win. I think he's going to get a big win, and let's see what happens. But that's my prediction. Hokit wins and gets one of the biggest wins of his career. There's so many crazy fights. I need to finish my coffee. I can't. I don't even know if I can get through all these guys. Whoa, Michael Chandler versus Mauricio Rufy. And next up, let's talk about MichaelChandler. I mean, if you are a fight fan, you know exactly what MichaelChandler brings to the table. He is explosive. He's dynamite. Athleticism. He is power. And this guy fights like that every round. He fights like every round is a championship fight. You know, like it's the last round of a championship fight. Like, let's go to war. Let's finish strong. You know, let's give the people what they want, like they're in the Coliseum. And even at this stage in MichaelChandler's career, he's still incredibly dangerous. The problem? His aggressive style sometimes creates openings. We've seen this live. And against a sharp striker, that's risky. Mauricio Ruffi is younger. He's fast, and we've seen he's extremely technical. Man, that I think is a right hand that he landed against Fiziev. Dude, it was just like a cobra, just bah! And, dude, just nasty sniper. And Mauricio Ruffi, he's younger, he's fast, he's extremely technical. But he's the kind of fighter who can capitalize on mistakes, which we talked about. Michael he tends to get a little too crazy and make mistakes. Ruffi, he can capitalize really well on mistakes. So if Ruffi ends up getting the win, I think it's because he catches MichaelChandler rushing in and he starts to pick him apart from range. But here's why I like MichaelChandler. Here's why I like MichaelChandler. Big moments, big stages, big pressure. Chandler has been there. He's fought elite competition for years. For those of you who really know the OG MichaelChandler from Bellator. And my ultimate prediction is that MichaelChandler survives some scary moments, but he finds a finish late. I think Chandler by technical knockout. I think MichaelChandler by TKO. You know what? The last one I'm going to break down is going to be DiegoLopes versus Steve Garcia. This one has potential to steal the show, and the reason is because DiegoLopes is one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. Man, comes out to La Chona, like fights like a straight up Mexican, man. DiegoLopes, again, aggressive. Yeah, we've been using a lot of these words for a lot of these fighters, and that shows how great of a card it's going to be. A lot of these guys are like DiegoLopes, aggressive, dangerous, always looking for a finish. But for now, these are the things that describe DiegoLopes. Dangerous, always looking for a finish, fights like a Mexican, and whether it's striking or grappling, he's constantly hunting for opportunities. But Steve Garcia, he's no easy fight. He's tough, man. He hits hard, and he keeps moving forward. And if Garcia takes the win on this, I think it's because he catches Lopes in an exchange and forces some type of firefight. But the danger for anyone fighting DiegoLopes is that he can finish you in multiple ways. And that's what makes this guy so dangerous. So ultimately, my prediction on this one, DiegoLopes versus Steve Garcia. Yeah, DiegoLopes versus Steve Garcia. My ultimate prediction is going to be, this is going to be a fun fight. This is going to be a fun fight, action-packed type of fight. But I think DiegoLopes finds a submission or a late finish. So, once again, I have spoken. My word is law. This is what's going to happen regardless of what anyone else thinks. The official predictions are going to be this. IliaTopuria wins. MichaelChandler wins. Alex Pereira wins. SeanOMalley takes the win. DiegoLopes takes the win. And Josh Hokit takes the win. But remember, this is MMA. One punch can change anything and everything. And even one takedown. One takedown can change the whole outcome of the fight. And that's why we watch, right? That's why we watch. The sport is beautiful. MMA is beautiful, and anything can happen. Everyone has a chance to create their own story when it's time to go. And Here's what you can do. If you enjoyed this video, drop your own predictions. Let me know who you think is going to win and why. And let's debate a little bit and have fun, because at the end of the day, the whole point of me creating my YouTube is I want to create the most positive combat sports community on YouTube in general, because there's a lot of negativity on YouTube. Sometimes there's a lot of MMA channels that can be a little bit toxic, right? Be a little bit more negative. But I just want it to be a channel where everyone meets up because they like the same thing, that they're a real community. We talk about the stuff that we actually like and we have a good time. And shouldn't it be as simple as that? YouTube's all about creating a community. You know, people like what you like what they like, so let's fucking talk about it and have a good time, baby. So we're creating the most positive combat sports channel on YouTube, so join us. Drop your predictions in the comments like we talked about. Which upset do you think is most likely? You know, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to lose? Let me know anything, everything. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of the UFC White House card, you know, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much to the people who already subscribed to me. Thank you guys so much for your support, and we'll see you next time. I'm so excited for this UFC card. It's one of one, and I think it's going to be an exciting night to be a UFC fight fan, especially if you're a new fan. That you have to watch this, and not only that, dude. If you're into gaming, I just watched them drop gameplay for Gears of War E-Day. Oh, dude, fire! Just amazing. Oh my god, dude, I cannot wait. And what else did they drop? They dropped like a new God of War game for PlayStation. And there's something else I'm forgetting. I don't know, dude. All I'm saying is even the gaming world in general is going crazy. So, you know what? We'll be back next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everyone.